Alrighty, we are back. Sorry about that. Delty and I took a little lunch break. So we have a couple things that I want to do now. I know I said I wasn't going to do any repots, but there are a couple things with my succulent collection that I would like to do. I have a succulent collection. I'm staring right at it. That's why I'm looking over there. A whole wall of blue and white succulent pots. And there's a couple things that I want to do to them. This is one of my collections that I'm the most nervous about leaving because I'm sure if you have any plants, you know that succulents do not like to be overwatered. So I'm not sure if the greenhouse situation that I'm creating is going to be good for them, but I am also nervous about underwatering them. They're all in fairly small pots, so I do not think they would be able to deal with going without water for that long. I do water them like once every 2 weeks, and I feel like I honestly could water them more than that. They are completely bone dry by the time I get to watering them again, so I think, again, because they are in such small pots, they do need more water than you think they do. So I'm gonna look at those today. I'm not honestly sure what I'm gonna do. I think I am gonna put them in the tote. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to completely water them today and then take a couple days to let them dry out just the smallest bit. And then I think they should be the perfect like wetness, moistness in order to be put in the tote and then kind of live there for a short amount of time. I have a couple things that I want to do on different ones that I'm looking at, so yeah, let's get started with doing that. Yeah, let's get started. I'm going to go get my soil mix. All of my succulents are in soil, obviously. I don't think they would do well in semi-hydro, so they're all in soil, so I'm gonna go get that mixed up. It's basically, what I use for my succulents is nothing fancy. Actually, what I use for all my plants is nothing fancy. I am not a fancy soil mix gal. I'm not bougie enough. I'm too cheap for that, honestly. I literally just mix up potting soil and perlite. And the amount of perlite that I use depends on what the plant needs. Water break. You drinking water? Well-hydrated queen. So yeah, I'm going to go put this all outside in my compost pile, and I will be right back so we have a nice fresh mat, and I will come back with my potting mix. Okay, I'm super excited about this. Succulents are low-key some of my favorite plants. I don't have that many, but I have some really cool, unique varieties, and I love looking at them. I actually don't have that many plants in my main space. Well, for me, it's not that many plants, but I'm sure to other people it's a lot of plants, because I know they can get overwhelming. Like, if you're a plant person, you understand that having them in the main space can sometimes make everything feel a little cluttered, and like, I just have so many. So I just have so many plants. So I actually don't have that many in the main space, like the living room, dining room, just a few, and they're outside of like anywhere we sit, stuff like that. But the dining room, I have 21, 22, 23. I have 23 succulents alone just on this one shelf or one windowsill, and they are just so happy there. They're so happy. They look so cute. I have them all in the blue and white kind of pots, and they are all just so adorable. So one of my favorite like plant collections that I have, I don't talk about them that much because they honestly don't change that much. I think that it could be because I underwater them like I was talking about, but they grow pretty slow. Obviously, I feel like most succulents and cacti grow slow, but they don't change that much. I feel like from year to year, they look just about the same. There are some repots that I want to do because some of them are starting to grow, and I'll talk more about that when I get into it, but yeah, I'm super excited. So, first one if you watched my video last week, I did an Andrea day, and that was where I went around town and just did whatever the heck I wanted. And some of the things that I got that day were this cactus. It's called the Tephro-Cactus geometricus. They had it labeled as a snowball cactus. I had never heard that before, but I absolutely love this one. And then I went to the thrift store later on that day and I found this adorable blue and white pot. If I find a blue and white pot at the thrift store, I am more than likely to get it. As long as the price is good and it's in good condition. This one was $1, so we obviously could not say no to that. I do need to take the tag off. You are drinking some water today, girl. Yeah, you are. Okay. Okay, so price tag is off. And these were almost like a match made in heaven. They're the perfect size. This is, I measured it because I talked in the video, I didn't know if I was gonna have enough room on the shelf for this, and I measured it, it fits perfectly. All my pots are almost touching at this point, and I was able to add this one onto the shelf, no problem. And this little guy is the perfect size to put in here. So I'm super excited. I was touching it earlier. There are some spikes on here, but not enough to where I feel like I can't handle, like, physically touch it, you know. If you have any cactus that have spiky edges, I wouldn't recommend touching them, but this one kind of has like round edges. It's kind of spineless a little bit versus at the top, so I'm gonna just touch it. I did talk about in the video, I didn't think I was gonna do a drainage hole, and I don't think I am. I think it's totally fine without a drainage hole. This is a really small pot, and if you saw me mixing this mix up, I used a lot of perlite. So I would say this is almost half soil, half perlite rather. And so I think it's gonna be just fine. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear me with me mixing the soil, but I think it's gonna be just fine in here. And obviously with such a small container, it's not gonna hold water for very long. So I'm not worried about it overwatering, to be quite honest. All right, so I think it almost might be an exact thing. This does look like really crappy soil that this is in, honestly. But it is well rooted, holy moly. Look at that. She's well rooted in there. Okay. So I do think I'm going to remove this upper level. I don't see any roots up there, so I would rather replace it with my nice soil. But I do not want to disrupt those bottom roots. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just lightly removing. Looks like there's a lot of dead roots in there as well, which I'm not shocked coming from a big box store plant. So hopefully we can get this looking happy. Okay. I just gently shook off the roots a little bit because I know that it's gonna have to fit in here. So this is what I have it looking like right now. Just a little dumpling. It's so cute. Okay, so let's see how that goes. I do want it slightly above. I don't know if that's how low they are technically supposed to be planted. It was planted like almost half of the entire thing was planted. I'm not sure if that's how low I'm gonna plant it now. Let's see. Okay, so let me put this to the side. We're gonna go right here so you can see, or right there so you can see. I'm gonna put a little layer of my soil, my good looking, well draining soil. Okay, oh my gosh, it's so freaking cute. I'm obsessed. Okay, so I'm going to take it and surround it. It is a little yellowy at the base. I think that might just be because that part of the plant hasn't had any access to light. I feel like that happens with my cacti. When I repot them, I notice the base always looks a little bit yellow. Okay, so a good way to make sure you have complete soil fillage in the pot is to just gently shake. I'm being super careful and I'm grasping this one because, like I said, this is an old pot. This is not meant to be a planter. I am sure of it. It does have some cracks in it. She's an old gal, our little dollar thrift store pot. So we're being super careful and we're gonna make sure that this is completely filled. Where'd that stick go? I feel like that's better than shaking, but either way, I'm just grasping and smacking, and it does keep falling in, so there's more soil that is needed in there. I have this knife that I took the sticker off, so I'm using that to kind of push the soil in all the crevices. And if it keeps falling down, that means there's more air pockets that need to be filled, which it does. I dropped a lot of soil, so I'm just using that first. Try not to be wasteful with my soil. And again, like I said earlier, I know that this might be scary to be putting a cactus of all things in a no drainage vessel, but I do feel confident that the combination of the south facing light, like literally the brightest light I have in my house, in combination with the smallness, the shape of the pot, I think it's gonna be just fine. And if not, I got this plant for $8 at Walmart, so I will be sad, but hopefully they still have them out, and if it dies an immediate death, I can go get another one and try again. Because that's all. It's just plants, people. We're just experimenting. Alright, so I think that is about it. Oh my gosh, I know it's just a little ball in a pot, but is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life? Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I think it is the perfect addition to my collection. And I was looking at my collection last night, and this is the only cactus I have on this wall. Or everything else is a succulent. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I have one cactus. I have one variegated fairy castle cactus, and everything else is a succulent. So this is one of 2 cacti that I have. I did have a bunch more cacti. I probably had like 5 or 6 in my plant room, and I got rid of all of them because they all had mealybugs. I did not check them when bringing, I think I brought one home from Lowe's or something, and I did not check it well enough, obviously, in the store, and I saw a mealybug or 2, and I did the whole isopropyl alcohol with a Q-tip thing, and it was fine for a while. And obviously with cacti, I'm not checking on them as much as my other plants, so whatever, a couple weeks go by, month, whatever, I watered them embarrassingly little, once every 3 months, something like that. And I look, and the entire wall of cacti was just covered in mealybugs. I had never really had an encounter with mealybugs before, but I did not want to risk it. My plant room is my sacred space for my plants. It's got my plants and my books, and I did not want anything to do with having mealybugs in there. So I literally just threw them all out. I threw them in the compost, but I threw them all out. I was like, I am not doing this. You guys are not getting on the rest of my like tropical house plants, because it really did look contained. I looked over every single plant in my plant room to make sure that they did not have mealybugs, and I didn't see any, so they all got thrown out. Sayonara, because we don't want you. We don't want you. All right. Yay. Repot number 1, she is stunning. I am obsessed, and she is going straight on the shelf after this. Okay. I am actually gonna take this soil. It's very cocoa-coir-y, I don't know. But I'm actually just gonna take it and put it right back in this soil and mix it around, because I feel as though I put too much perlite in this soil. I think for someone who waters more regularly, it would be fine. But for me, I think I need a little bit more soil. But I don't think it's gonna do much, but just mixing it in. I am a plant neglector, I will tell you that right now. The plants that cannot survive 2 weeks without being watered, they're gonna die in my collection because I just can't hack it. I like to water my plants as little as possible. I do have the more bougie ones like my anthurium and stuff that like a lot of water, and I'm willing to do it for those because they reward me with just such amazing leaves, and like I just love seeing them transform and stuff like that. But the majority of my plants, they're lucky if they get water once a month, honestly. And I've kind of curated my collection to be that way. So like the plants that need more care, like the Maranta I was showing you earlier, that's in a self-watering pot. So I water it, it has a water reservoir so it can stay moist for a long enough time. And even with that reservoir, I still managed to underwater it and it still gets crispy leaves. So I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. But yeah, I'm honestly super excited to put some of these in totes. It's not going to be the most aesthetic thing ever, but I think the plants are really going to like it. Not them doing better when I'm gone than when I'm here, but you know, whatever. Okay, so next, I brought these two plants together because this is a snake plant and it is absolutely gorgeous. I really love it. I bought it when it was super small. I think it was only like this one, and it is filled out outrageously, but I don't want it in my succulent wall. I did it because I thought that it was really cute in the pot, and then I sit here and I look at it and I'm just like, you don't need this. You don't need this VIP treatment. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's obviously appreciating the VIP treatment. I mean, look how stunning it's growing, but I would rather have a succulent or cactus or something that really needs this southern exposure for this wall, for this pot. And every time I look at it, I always think in my head, I'm gonna take that out and move it somewhere because it doesn't need that much light. And today is the day because this desperately needs a repot. This is my Huernia. I think it's a Huernia zebrina. I don't actually know. I actually got this from a plant stand. You know, like someone's yard had a plant stand, and I brought some of my garden seedlings, and they had this on there, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I think it's a Huernia, and they have crazy blooms. It was just, I want to say this and this. I wonder if I have a picture of it. It was like two little pieces, and I just literally stuck them in here. I got this from an antique store or something. I didn't actually get the whole sticker off. I have to hit this with some Goo Gone or something. Okay, I got a lot of it off. But yeah, I saw this the other day and I was like, oh, she probably needs a repot because this is a super tall and skinny pot. And there will be something that I will replace this with. I just don't know yet. I don't have a plant specifically that I'm thinking I want to put in here quite yet. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet, but I do know that this could probably use a repot, and I'm going to have this pot ready for it. So I am super nervous to take this plant out of the pot because it does have a lip. The pot has a lip. And so I'm worried about this plant not coming out, which is why I brought the knife, because I think I might have to do some scraping to get this plant out. I'm not super worried about it. If I end up breaking off one of the pups that's in here, it's not a big deal because snake plants are super easy to propagate, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna manhandle it. And, oh, it's coming out so easy. Oh my gosh. It barely even... Okay. That was easy. Okay. I'm not remembering how big this plant was when I put it in here. All these pups are new. The roots look super happy, which is awesome. I'm not seeing any broken roots in the soil. So I think it just slid out really easily. I am so happy with that. Wow, look at that. I can even break off some of these pups if I didn't want it to be like as clustered, or if I wanted to have multiple plants, but for now, I am so happy with that. I really thought that that was gonna be a whole ordeal. And this soil looks really good too. I'm seeing like some broken roots, because when it came out that easily, I was worried about me rotting it, but no, it looks super happy. Okay, so cool. Love that. That's out. Now I wanted to see what the roots for this one look like. I'm a little nervous about taking this one out as well. Okay, yeah, so just as I thought, this one had kind of rooted to the sides of the container. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, quite honestly, because I put these in this container with no roots, so I had no idea like how quickly they were gonna root. Now I feel like that's a really big frickin' pot for that. Let me think. Now I feel like that is a big up pot. I don't know now. I'm just looking at my other succulents, seeing if anything looks like it's ready for a repot. I don't really think so. I do have my one big Horthia, but it looks fine. My Senecio looks like it could possibly want a repot. Should I just put this in here? So indecisive. Yeah, I think I am gonna put this in here. I think I'm gonna put this in here because I don't think any of my other succulents need a repot right now. I think this one's gonna be super happy in here. It's grown really happy in this container, but I feel like a nice up pot is gonna do it some good. Okay. The soil that I have it in honestly looks really nice. I'm gonna do a little mixy of both. Why the heck not? Oops. I'll vacuum after. Don't touch me. Okay. I don't want to plant it too low because I don't want to rot the base of the foliage. Is this foliage? I guess so. Stand up. I think this branch is not going to stand up just because it's so heavy. I don't know if this eventually ends up trailing or something, but who knows? Shake, shake, shake. Okay, and let's do some of this mix up here. This fell off. It does have a root, so I think it should be fine. It's got a root, so I'm just gonna stick it back in. I'm gonna stick it a little bit deeper, hoping that it'll root up in there. And then I'm just gonna, I wanna be super gentle now because I'm realizing being too rough with it will break off these little baby parts, and I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna be super gentle from now on. This one is honestly, it broke off another one. Let's stick that in there. Now I think it's gonna be happy with all this room because I have, versus 2 cuttings rooting up here, I now have 4 because I just broke off 2 pieces, so it's gonna fill out in no time, I'm sure. I've had this plant for maybe like a year. I think it was around last spring I found the cuttings at the stand at this person's house, so it has grown a lot just in a year, and that was from being completely not rooted. So this piece is driving me nuts. I guess it's just gonna hang off like that. All right, she's so cute in here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is my newly repotted Hawernia. This piece is driving me absolutely bonkers, but I think that they're probably all gonna end up doing that once they get heavy enough. So I think this might be like a trailing type of succulent. So yeah, that looks so good. Okay, great. Let me go put these back on the shelf and I will move on to the next part. Okay, so I am super excited about potting up this snake plant because I know exactly, I knew when I came up with this plan in my mind to like move these plants around, I knew exactly what pot I wanted to put this snake plant in. Again, looking at it, it seems like a super big repot. But whatever, I'm not worried about it. I have had this strawberry pot for so long. And I usually just use it as like a decorative pot. I had it in my plant room for a long time, but I've never actually planted a pot in it because it does have a drainage hole. And I've kind of moved over from these kind of pots to pots with no drainage hole because I like to just water in place. And I like to bottom water the majority of my plants, and you can't bottom water when you have a hole in your pot. So I thought that this would be the perfect pot for this plant. It's a little bit small. The plant is a little bit small, whatever. I'm gonna use this super chunky mix, so I think it should just be just fine. I'm gonna move over this soil from the succulent. I like to reuse soil as much as I can. Even if the nutrients are depleted, I find that just like adding fertilizer does the trick without having to throw out perfectly good soil. Obviously, if there's like sign of pests and stuff, I would not be reusing it, but I try my best to reuse it whenever I can because I don't want to waste it. And soil is expensive. Okay, so we have our soil, we have our pot, we have our plant. This is a pretty tall plant, or tall pot rather. And so I want to make sure that this is potted up in here in a way where it's not like sticking out. Okay. Couple big scoops right at the bottom. Let's try 3 big scoops. See what that looks like. Too low, so we're gonna do another big scoop. I just want to make sure it's at the right level. I think I could do a little bit more. And again, I understand this is a lot of soil at the bottom of the pot, and that might be scary, but I'm gonna make sure that it is in a super bright area, and I'm gonna make sure to not overwater it. It is still gonna be You okay, Delta? I'm still gonna make sure it's in a super bright area. I'm just not gonna put it with the rest of my succulents. I don't think this is technically a succulent, but it didn't belong in the collection. You know what I mean? It looked like it didn't belong. It's the only one that I have on the shelf that has yellow variegation, so it just like stuck out like a sore thumb. And every time I walked by it, I was like, you don't belong in the succulent collection. Everything else I have looks, you know, succulent-y and cacti-like, and then this one was just standing out too much. So I was like, I know exactly what pot I'm gonna put it in, and I know exactly where I'm going to put you. I'm just gonna be really messy with it. Slowly fill this up. I also think that this soil is so well draining that it would be very hard to overwater this unless I watered it too often, which is like, in my experience, the only way that you can really kill a snake plant. They really like to, I'm not gonna say go until they're like soft and bendy, but they want to dry out for sure. They do not want to be overwatered. So I'm gonna be really careful with that. And I think that this plant is gonna grow into this pot in no time, just based on, like I told you, it literally only had one floret, like this middle one. All the rest of this is new growth since I've had it. And I didn't always have it in the south window. That was something I did when I wanted to kind of fill out that window, and I didn't have enough succulents and cacti to do so. So I was trying to figure out what plants I wanted to put there, because this wall is very specific to size. I can't have anything that's gonna grow too big, and I knew that this would be kind of a like self-containing plant. It's not gonna trail, it's not gonna grow all crazy, so that was the reason I chose it. But now I'm realizing I don't want it there anymore, and that's totally fine. That is totally fine. It feels a little unstable in this pot, but that's okay. I think with time, it'll grow into it. I'm just taking the perlite out of the petals, I don't know, the leaves, just to clean it up a little bit. Yeah. Oh, I love this pot so much. I had it sitting outside not being used. And I was like, I know I need to put something in this. I just don't know what. And I think this is perfect because since it has that drainage tray, the combination of the plant with the airy soil and the lack of, or the drainage hole, you know what I mean? I won't need to bottom water this. I'll just hit it with the hose every once in a while. And I think it's gonna be totally fine. And it's so cute. I love this plant so much. This is gonna go on my plant shelf. I've been wanting to put plants in more fun cutesy pots on my plant shelf just to give it a little something. I do keep the majority of plants in nursery pots on my plant shelf, just makes it easier for watering and stuff, but I would love to put them in more funky pots just to add a little color and texture and whimsy. So this is gonna go right on my plant shelf, which does have grow lights, so she's not getting south-facing sun anymore, but she's definitely gonna be getting a lot more light than most people give their snake plants. So I'm super excited to see this one grow, and I think that this was just the perfect pot for it. It was meant to be. Which means that this is now empty. I do a lot of plant Tetris with my succulents because I have pots ranging between small to medium to large, and I do move them around a lot because I think that they do look better based on whatever size pot they're in. But I don't think I have anything for this right now. Maybe I'll get something at a swap or something to fill in there. Okay, hold on. BRB. I have this jade plant. I love this plant so much. Fun fact, your girl's middle name is Jade. So this plant is super beautiful and fun, and I just think it's super personal to me because Jade is my middle name. But it is growing in an interesting way. So I can't remember if it was originally 2, but it's kind of just growing in 2 little spikes. And while I think that is super cute, I don't think that's what I want for the plant long term. And so I think I'm going to do something that most people would be very scared to do. I'm going to chop it, and I'm going to chop it down low. Because when it comes to succulents like this, when you chop it, that growth point, that area where you chop it will divide like into multiple growth points. So I want this to become like a little mini tree. I actually have a variegated one to show you as an example. So this is my variegated jade plant, and see how it just looks so much better. This one only has 3 growth points, but I just think it looks more like a tree and just cuter. I don't know. So I'm gonna cut this one. I'm gonna cut it. And just in case the plant is not happy, I could use this as another propagation container because I don't want to just get rid of these. They're so cute. So I think for now, how far down do I want to go? I'm gonna go right here. Ooh. Okay, so that is my jade plant. She's still stunning, she's beautiful. I can't wait to see the update and how this goes. I think it's obviously gonna go really well. I've done this multiple times with succulents, so I'm not worried about it. That was just, it's been a lot of growth. So I got this plant when it was really small, so I'm excited to see it grow. Does this have pest damage too? Or is this just getting woody because it's older? Is that pest damage? I know succulents get woody when they get older. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to use this container, which I now have available, as a propagation vessel. So I propagated this plant or plants like this multiple times. I am ripping the lower leaves off. You could technically propagate those as well. I don't know if I'm going to, but you can if you want to. And I'm gonna go 3 rows deep. 3 rows deep, so I have a nice amount of stem to stick in the soil, and I think that'll be good. Maybe I'll just throw these in a propagation container just in case. So these are the plants that I have. I am gonna pot them up right now just because I want to finalize this task, but I'm not going to water it right now because since I just cut these are brand new like wounds that I just made. And I just broke all these off. So there's a bunch of open wounds basically in this plant, and I don't want to hit that with water right now. So I'm gonna let this sit in soil, honestly, for the rest of the day. Like I'm gonna let it callus over. I'm gonna let those wounds close up. This is really easy. This soil is super easy, so I'm literally just gonna, I have a lot going on right now, sorry. I don't know if you were able to see any of that, but I have my plant, I have my cuttings. I'm just going to gently stick them in as far as they will go. I don't want to damage the plant. But this is not going to be the permanent home for this plant. This is just going to be for now. Wait until I get growth. Okay, I did end up moving the camera a little bit so you could see more of what was going on. But as I was saying, this isn't a permanent home for this plant. It's just going to be something to have, one, have in the pot, and two, root up these cuttings. If they do end up rooting and this one ends up branching, I'm gonna keep this one, but I will give these away or give them in a swap or something, so they will not go to waste for sure. Okay, so that is what I wanted to do to my jade plant. Like I said, I'm not gonna water this right now, and honestly, I'm not gonna water this either because it does have open cuts that I just made, and I plan on watering all my succulents probably tomorrow or later today in order to get ready for me heading out to travel. So I'm going to leave these right on the south-facing window so they get loads of sun. I did find something else to repot for my succulent shelf. So I do have a dead plant on the succulent shelf, RIP. This was a peperomia that I got from a friend, and it was doing well until I repotted it. Once I repotted it, it instantly died. Well, I repotted it when I first got it, and then I repotted it to be in this container by itself. And I mean, this soil is, it's wet, but it's well draining, and it rotted so fast, like no coming back. I was gonna try to take a cutting, but it was already really small, so I gave up on it, unfortunately. Sorry, Jackie, if you're watching this video. I was super excited about that plant and I killed it. I have not kept the peperomia alive in the 10 years that I have had houseplants. I've never kept one alive, so I was unfortunate that I knew I wasn't even gonna be able to take care of it, so unfortunately so. But this is also not gonna stay here forever, but I do have this Ripsalis cruciformis spiralis, I wanna say. I'll put the name down below just to make sure I have it right. But I got these cuttings on Etsy again. That water looks crazy. I do have these cuttings that I'm super excited about, and I just need to pot them up in something. I figure might as well pot them up cute here, let them grow for a little bit. They are unrooted, but they are producing new growth. This is all new growth on the plant, but there's no roots. I've had this in water for over a month now, and oops, there's no roots on them yet, but I guess maybe they're just waiting to get in soil. So, I don't know. Let's give it a try. I want to put them up in something cute, and I don't want them to stay in water forever because I don't want to risk rotting them. So I'm going to put them in this soil. Again, I'm reusing this soil. That plant literally died the second I put it in this soil. I don't think there's anything wrong with this soil. I think it might have just been transplant shock. So again, mixy, mixy, mixy. We don't waste any soil here. And this is also super chunky. I think this is a plant that will appreciate the chunky soil, so I'm not super worried about it. Yeah, let's get this one rooted up. I'm just gonna hold them all in my hand. I'm gonna get a scoop. I'm gonna position them where I want them. I don't think I want them all the way down at the bottom. So maybe I'll do one scoop, one little scoop, so they have something to rest on. And then I will fill it all up. If you are watching this, I appreciate it so much. I just want to say, I understand that my channel is clearly not going to be for everybody. It's going to be for the planty nerds. Oh, Delta she just did a whole like 360 spin on the ground. She's so confused as to why I'm talking to nobody. Stresses her out. But yeah, what I say, I just appreciate it so much. I love YouTube. If you know me, I watch beauty YouTube, I watch plant YouTube, I watch book YouTube. I'm even starting to get into thrifting videos because I love thrifting and I love seeing what other people find. So yeah, it's what inspired me to make one of my own, because I just love talking about these kind of things. Like, I love my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, I love all my planty friends that I talk to all the time and just share each other's experience. I think that is so cool. And if you're watching, you are a real one, and I appreciate you so much. And yeah, so I'm just gonna keep posting because I think it's really fun. And if you are a follower or if you know me personally, I just want to say I really appreciate you. So yeah, we are all potted up. It's a little bit funky looking just because of the way I potted it up. It just kind of sticks straight up. But like I said, I don't think this is going to be in here forever. I think it's majority just a vessel to fill up the pot. It's going to get some southern light exposure as well, so I think it's going to be super happy with that, and hopefully we'll get some roots on this guy soon. This one was in water, so I am going to water it right now. I'm actually going to water it with this. It's probably going to drain right through because this water is the soil is so well draining. See, I'm glad I did that because the soil is going right down. So I'm actually gonna fill it up just a little bit more. Wow, I feel like that took a lot of water. But yeah, I do want to get this one watered because it has been in water for like a month plus now. So I think it would be kind of a shell shock to the plant to take it out of water and put it straight into super dry soil. So this one is going to be watered. And then we are going to put it over in the southern exposure window. And I think it's gonna be super happy. I'm just doing like a little song and dance here with the water and the soil. Okay. A little bit messy looking right now, but it's just adjusting to the pot. I'm gonna do one more pour out of water. Okay. So, we have this finally potted up. I've been waiting to pot this up. I just didn't know what kind of vessel I was gonna put it in. And again, I don't think it's gonna be in here forever, but I don't think it's gonna be mad about this for a while, especially since it has no roots on it right now. What the heck is that about? New growth, but no roots. So I think that is it for the cacti and succulents. I honestly can't think of anything else that needs to be done to them right now. I do have one open pot. It's a small pot. I honestly can't think of anything to put in there. So maybe I'll be on the lookout for a cute new succulent, or I'll wait for a plant swap or something like that. But I just like to see them all full, you know, like to have all these beautiful luscious plants and then one empty pot. It just like kind of drives me crazy. But this is a new pot that I just added. It was actually a candle that I thrifted and then burned the candle. So now I have the pot ready to be used. But yeah, I can't think of anything to put in there right now. So maybe I'll go back to Walmart and get another one of those cacti. If you watched my Andrea Day video, I don't think I showed what they look like. Maybe I have a picture, but they had so many cool rare cacti, and I think that would be the perfect size container for that. Ooh, that might happen. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait for a succulent. We'll see. But it's just so perfect. They stay so compact. They're all like the little dome-like succulents, which are my favorite. Those are my favorite kind of cacti. I don't have a lot of like the long ones. But yeah, the succulent shelf looks so cute right now. I'm gonna turn you around so you can see it soon. But yeah, almost everything is growing so well. Like I said, that one peperomia was the one that died, unfortunately, but everything else just thrives in this window. It does so well, and everything is so different and unique looking, and I just think the combination of them all is so adorable. So yeah, I'm gonna show you that right now. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see with the lighting. Like I said, this is a south-facing window, so it does get really bright light, but I love, this is like I said, one of my favorite places in my house with my plants. See if I can get better footage for you. Ooh. She's a videographer. This was the one open candle that I need to like put a drainage hole in and stuff. Ooh, look at all those succulents. Obsessed. I love it so much. It's hard to see with the light. Look at that little cactus. Oh my gosh. It's so precious. And then this is the Hoernia we just potted up. So stunning. And then this is the Ripsalis. Looks kind of funny, but I think it is adorable. And look at this Ripsalis. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get back into it.
Thought that I would be a bit at peace by now.